I am lost for words for this sim. Automobalista 2 has honestly surpassed quite a lot of my expectations for it. There are lots of good things to say about it. For those who saw my video originally, I was gifted this game by my good friend Adrian, who was featured in an episode of SB and Friends. He insisted I should play this game, so I took his advice and gave it a go. After just under 10 hours with this game so far, I feel like it's enough to give you my full honest opinion on AMS2. As usual, just like with my last episode with ACC, this is an unsponsored review. All the opinions here are mine alone, and none of the companies mentioned here have any influence on this review. Let's start with what I noticed with it first, and that is the force feedback. On my Moza R9 wheel, it felt very sharp and very fluid handling, where I can feel where I am on the edge with the cars I am driving. As you can see in this clip, I am pushing this McLaren F1, and you can see me sliding the car and getting the arse end of the car out at any opportunity, and it feels a lot of fun doing so. The cars feel very responsive and easy to catch sides when it happens, thanks to the very sharp and strong force feedback that my wheel seems to pick up from the sim. AI is another plus point in the sim. While not on the same level as R-Factor's 2 AI, they do try to race against not just you, the player, but also each other as well. I had them set to the maximum aggression level and a high enough difficulty, and I got a decent race out of them on dry conditions. They don't do a lot of defending like R-Factor's 2 AI would, but they do try going the attack against you, the player, and aren't completely homicidal like R-Factor's 2 AI can be sometimes. However, they are not passive like Project Cars and ACC's AI are, so you get a good bit of racing out of them. Along with force feedback comes some surprisingly amazing physics, which makes the handling of the cars very realistic, including at wet weather races. For those who never played AMS2 before, the game uses the Madness engine, the same engine that is used in the Project Cars games developed by Slightly Mad Studios, a franchise which I didn't like a whole lot, mainly for its railroad-like physics and boring lackluster AI, which only know how to follow a path. Somehow though, the developer of AMS2, Reza Studios, a developer with a modest budget, did a much better job with the engine than its original creator and ended up blowing Project Cars out of the water because of it, especially when it comes to racing in the rain. Rain racing is where I had the most amount of fun in AMS2, especially in VR. It feels like the car was a challenge to drive, and it was an absolute game changer for me in any sim that I've played. That is until iRacing's rain update comes out. The car reacts to aquaplaning very well, like how it would in real life, which makes it extremely immersive and lots of fun to drive the car in the rain. And about VR, the sim is the best for VR racing, especially when driving open world cars in VR, which for one moment you forget you're driving a virtual car and not a real car. I use the HP Reverb G2 headset, and it has been working well with AMS2 with no major issues so far with it, so long as you don't use the helmet camera, of course. AMS2 is one of the best games to be played in VR, so if you have a VR headset, whether it's for me, the HP Reverb G2, an Oculus Rift, or Valve's Steam Index VR headset, you are most likely to get a really good experience in VR with this sim. Now, the only con I can think of with the sim is the multiplayer, which is quite empty and very hard to find a race a lot of the times. But when you do find a race, my experience has been very underwhelming. Issues I had with the multiplayer including massive lag spikes, which has caused people in front of me to crash, and network issues where nearly everyone has ping in 120 milliseconds, making it very hard to race people at times. At first I thought it might have been something to do with my VR headset causing the issues, so I was like, okay, let's race without it for a bit and see if it makes any difference. Spoiler alert, it didn't. I competed in an LMP1 race at Donington, where I was required to make a mandatory pit stop. I made it on lap 3, and I was trying to change the settings where I assigned the wrong pedal to work the clutch. Next thing, as I was coming to the end of lap 5, I was reminded I had to make a mandatory pit stop, which I already made on lap 3, mind you. Next thing, as soon as I crossed the line, I got black flag and I was disqualified. And when I saw that I was DQ'd, I was like, hello? Game? Are you fucking blind here? I made the pit stop on lap 3. Why did you not register that in the system? I don't understand this with that logic of that game. Now overall though, AMS2 is a fantastic sim in which I really enjoy playing in my spare time when I don't feel like grinding for IR and iRacing. In fact, other sims like ACC and R-Factor 2 could learn quite a lot from this sim, like its fantastic physics, its force feedback, and the AI, which sims especially like ACC and Project Cars could genuinely benefit from. I do believe, though, in my opinion, that if AMS2 implements the same AI that rFactor 2 has, I guarantee you 100% that AMS2 will be on the same level as rFactor 2. I would recommend this sim for people who are new to sim racing against the offline AI, as well as doing hot laps in cars like the open wheelers, the GTs, the touring cars, and even the prototypes. It's also a great way to introduce your friends to a sim racing if you want to show off your new fancy sim racing rig and get them into sim racing that way. For €40 alone, it is well worth the asking price that Reese's Studios is asking for this game. But I want to know from you, the viewer, whether if you would like to see me upload more AMS2 videos, whether if you want me to race multiplayer lobbies, do some hot laps, or if there's a modding scene for this game, maybe you would like, if you'd like to see me talk about different mods or different cars, or maybe different, or maybe even show me a few sites where it's dedicated to AMS2 modding, then please do let me know about that. I would love to hear your feedback on this review regarding AMS2. But for now, though, I thank you for watching this video. If you liked the video, then please leave a like, and if you want to see more content like this, consider subscribing to the channel, and I look forward to seeing you in future videos. Until then, though, thanks for watching, and goodbye.